We are the Ministry of the Real Truth, and for quite a while now we have been pondering about the statements supposedly made by the native-born Aramaic speaking translator, filmmaker Victor Nimrud Alexander, who translated the original ancient, very old, long dead, no longer written, no longer spoken Tav Ashrit, Lishan Articus Hebraea into the nearest English equivalent. That's the Old Testament manuscripts, dated at around 800 BCE, copied by hand by scribes and monks in Urhai, Edessa, now part of modern Turkey, around 800 BCE. And the New Testament, hidden and preserved Galilean Aramaic manuscripts, the language that Jesus spoke and also the disciples spoke and wrote in, into the nearest English equivalent, without the prejudice, bias, etc. that translators are well known for. There were questions that we came across, or statements that we came across on a certain blog site, and that particular owner stated that Victor Nimrud Alexander's middle name was Isaac. So we're a bit wary about that guy. And then he was asking for people to donate money through him on behalf of Victor Alexander, saying he wanted $100 to do this, to do that, or for his film project, or put his site back up, because it was downed and we found a way to revive it. So there were some statements we were forced to re-look at and try to clear up. Are they what he said, or totally fake, somebody else, as we've been told, posing as him? We have received many, for at the moment, thank yous from him, saying thanks for your faith in his, was trust in his translation project that he did. We studied it extensively and so forth, but someone else has informed us that particular Victor may be a fake, posing as him. So we decided to go look at that website again, or that blog site again. We couldn't find it, exactly which one it was. We know it's got by a guy named Bennett, so we were a bit wary of that guy, and we came across this one from IMDb, and this is a mini bio about his father. Apparently Nimrod is either his father or his grandfather. Nimrod Alexander, he was named after the biblical character King Nimrod, and so was Victor, that's his middle name. Nimrod Alexander was a pioneer of modern cinema. He began making movies in 1909. The first actress he worked with was Louise Brooks. Nimrod Alexander knew all the early movie stars such as Douglas Fairbanks Sr. and Douglas Fairbanks Jr. They're from the old 30s, 40s, 50s movies. He knew Mary Pickford. Nimrod's father was John and his grandfather was Malik Kaba, a Jewish merchant from Istanbul, Turkey. He sent his grandson money, that might have been Victor Alexander, and encouraged him to work with Jews in the garment district of New York City. Nimrod Alexander came to Southern California and encouraged these Jewish men to come to sunny California and make movies without artificial lights. The first film stages were nothing but four walls with an open ceiling where sunshine came through without incurring electric bills. Later they placed silk screens to soften the light. Some of the early pioneers of the silent cinema were Charlie Chaplin and Max Sennett. He's a cross-eyed guy with a Jim Croce or Croaky moustache, or Gotcha Marx type moustache. Very, very funny guy in silent movies. Nimrod Alexander encouraged D.W. Griffith to come to Hollywood. One of the greatest film directors, he was to do a film about the sack of Babylon. It was the first 5-reeler or a 2-hour feature film. All movies were shot on 35mm motion picture film. As the discovery of oil in the Middle East during mid-19th century finally made it possible for automobiles and transportation to become of major importance, and then there were the ships and airplanes that used oil and gasoline, World War I broke out over the oil wealth of the Middle East. At this point, the Ottoman Empire They were a Turkish Muslim nation. Became the target of the Western Allies, the English-speaking people, Great Britain and the United States, probably over the oil. They wanted to possess their oil. Nimrod Alexander had amassed a great deal of wealth from selling movie rights. He also sold RKO Studios to Howard Hughes for $50 million. He knew Howard Hughes Sr., also in the drilling gear, which was essential for reaching oil wells deep under the surface. The drill was self-cleaning. At 18, Howard Hughes Sr.'s father passed away and Howard Hughes took over his father's fortune. As a CIA man, and this is where we were starting to question, is this fact or fiction? As a CIA man, supposedly the first director of the CIA, we're not sure on that. We haven't found any evidence on that. As a CIA man, Nimrod Alexander saved some important people from Nazi Germany and brought them to the US. He brought the German Lutheran rocket scientist Werner von Braun to the US, and he was the scientist to put a man on the moon when President John Fitzgerald Kennedy wanted to do it. Nimrod Alexander also brought Marlene Dietrich. She was like a German singer, very eloquent, very beautiful in her day. Lily Marlene fame. Out of Nazi Germany. He brought it out of Nazi Germany. He helped Hedy Lamarr, another beautiful actress in the 30s, 40s, get movie roles in Paramount Studios, and that's the one they make fun of in the movie parody Blazing Saddles. She had escaped out of Nazi-occupied Austria, where her father, uncle and husband perished in concentration camps, but she and her mother made it out. One of Nimrod Alexander's friends was Orson Welles. He financed some of his movies. One of Nimrod Alexander's friends was Orson Welles. Nimrod Alexander spent the years of prosperity loafing around with such friends as Errol Flynn from the old pirate flicks. He used to like swing on ropes and all that sort of stuff. He had like so much energy. And the major movie stars of the 1950s. So that's either his father or his grandfather's history. Okay, so we're going to look at Vic Alexander. Okay, there's a little piece here. Vic Alexander, director, cinematographer, editor, because he graduated from the San Francisco Film Academy, and he did his own little documentaries and films on Mesopotamian history, because Western Christians or theologians were saying, oh, those winged bulls, they used to have Ashurbanipal's palace, etc., like that, were demons or all this sort of stuff. It's untrue, one load of rubbish. So he did his movies at the Louvre, Paris, and such, and he presented it to film academies, libraries and stuff. And he says, no, it's all false, we don't want it. And he couldn't understand why. Right? And he started doing the translations from the original manuscripts given him by a high priest of the original Church of the East, founded by the disciple Thomas, with the help of Adai, Bartholomew and Peter. Vic Alexander was born in San Francisco at the French Hospital on May 7, 1943, after World War II had already started. Vic Alexander grew up in San Francisco, hence him being a graduate of the San Francisco Film Academy. He attended the Benjamin Franklin Adult High School there, later renamed the John Adams Adult High School. John H. Adams was a great-grandson of John Adams, the second U.S. President. Vic Alexander graduated in 1962. Later, Vic Alexander went to UC Berkeley for one semester in 1965. He contracted pneumonia and did not complete the second semester. And we have more information on that. Okay. Vic Alexander was born in San Francisco at the French Hospital, etc., etc. He contracted pneumonia and did not complete the second semester. He dropped out from the University of California in Berkeley and went to Oslo, Norway on the advice of a Norwegian stewardess. There he met and married the future SAG-AFTRA actress Liv Alexander, who is the granddaughter of the Ziegfeld dancer and actress Louise Brooks, whose best film is Pandora's Box. Later, Vic Alexander went on to graduate from the San Francisco State University with a degree in film production. in 1970. Some of his teachers were Robert Lewis, Jim Goldner and Bill Furman. Ron Perlman, is that the Ron Perlman who did Hellboy? And Dr. John Fell. Dr. John Fell and one of the organisers of the Screenwriters Guild, Lester Cole, who wrote Born Free, 1966. You don't know that movie? That's about Joyce Adams, who went to Africa and had a line called Elsa, etc., etc., and she was murdered by Africans sometime later on, some years later, apparently. Vic Alexander's other film writing teacher was Ronnie Perlman, who wrote some of the episodes of the Beverly Hillbillies television series. So maybe that's Ron Perlman's father. Vic Alexander travelled to Norway in 1971 and worked in team film Oslo, Norway for a couple of years. He made commercials for the Norwegian cinema circuit and returned to California in 1975 and settled in Southern California. In 1984 he worked as director of photography on the movie Killzone, directed by David A. Pryor, with an Arri 2C, and edited it on a rented Steamback. In 1985 he completed his movie Two Faces of Youth. In 1986 he produced Tiger Cage and completed directing it after the writer-director Sean McGregor quit. In 1987 he produced and directed House Outlaw. In 1988 he directed Burt Ward, that's the guy who played Dick Ward or the Boy Wonder in the 60s Batman series, the one that tried to say he had black belt, he was tough, could beat up Bruce Lee, and he nearly got his ass kicked. In 1988 he directed Burt Ward and StarQuest Liv. Alexander, Umal Williamson and Scott Sachs starred in the movie as well. We had a peek at that, that's quite good. Vic Alexander also directed The Quail Hunt with Solfrid Høyer in Norway, about a girl who lost in snow in a snowstorm. He also directed Two Faces of Youth, 1991, in 1991 and Butterflies in the Wind, 2006, and The Red Queen, 2009, and The Chase by Vic Alexander and Nightmares of Nam, 1988. Vic Alexander directed StarQuest, starring Burt Ward, Boy Wonder, and his wife Liv Alexander. Vic Alexander plans to revamp some of his earlier movies. He continues to develop movie projects and plans to shoot a number of significant feature films in the future, such as The Story of Jesus. And here is some of his projects in development. Financiality may be a problem. Financing them all. And he's known for these movies. His credits as a director and a filmmaker. Cinematographer, there's all his ratings. Okay, so we had another website or blog site. We just couldn't find that one. One we did find, it didn't really have that much information. It was like a comparison between his translations and somebody else's, and they reckon that guy was just basically copying Victor Alexander because he was influenced by him. But we came across statements like on this particular blog site that Donald Trump was or is his son-in-law, and he had a website va.com which was down, and we revived it, and that's what we bring to you via our Ministry of the Real Truth videos. Got great ratings for that from him. We don't know about that. Didn't even know. There's no mention of him having children, so we have no idea of that. We heard other rumours somebody hacked it and pulled it down. They didn't want it up there. They didn't want information out, for different reasons. In regards to the original ancient, very old Aramaic manuscripts of the Old Testament and the New Testament. What's another one? Oh, and this one. This is the one we're trying to iron out the facts. We said earlier that perhaps his grandfather, this is a statement he came across, that His grandfather was the first founding director or the first director of the CIA. We can't verify that because we haven't found the evidence. But he left and he went to do silent movies in Hollywood, and he became very well known. Nimrod Alexander, which you've already relayed that information. And apparently the Elephant Man, John Merrick, if you've never seen the film Elephant Man, Michael Jackson actually supposedly had his bones, right? The remains of this Elephant Man who had a major deformity. John Merrick had a grandson, apparently Dr. John Merrick, and the Holocaust, the Jewish Holocaust, this is a statement made, right? The Jewish Holocaust wasn't orchestrated by Hitler. It was actually orchestrated by the CIA and the Queen of England, former Queen of England, along with the CIA and all this sort of stuff. We don't know if that's true. That's why we're doing this video, because there might be someone out there who knows the truth about this, right? If they can give us evidence, etc. We'd really like Victor Nimrud Alexander to get back to us and set us straight if it's false or if it's totally true. Yeah, and apparently the former, she's retired now, German Chancellor Merkel, Angela Merkel, had this guy executed as Dr. John Merrick for his part in that Holocaust and the murder of millions of Jews, etc. We're not sure on that, so we need somebody to verify that for us, because we can't find that information anywhere to back that up, to make that, to prove that this established fact that the evidence found has proven itself evident, etc., etc. Yeah, it's a hard task. We just can't find it anywhere. So giving it the benefit of the doubt, we do sympathise. We understand that now Victor Nimrud Alexander is an older man in his 70s, we believe, and he's in and out of hospital on meds, so that could be what's affecting him, or somebody's just totally making all this stuff up. We tried to find information on former Chancellor Angela Merkel and her putting to death the grandson of the Elephant Man, but we have so far been unsuccessful. Perhaps you could help. So if you like this video, if you like the ideas that we're presenting to you, the questions we're posing, then give us a like, a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and then add your comments underneath this video. Okay, try to be mature, try to be an adult. We don't put up with silliness. Okay, give us the real facts. If you don't know, you don't know, so don't try and bedazzle us with your BS. We want to know if all of these claims are true or not. Someone out there must know something. Subscribe to our channel, give us a like, add your comments below, and then go share this with your friends, family, neighbours and strangers, etc., because there may be somebody out there who knows it's completely bogus, and they provide the evidence, the established facts, the evidence to back all that up. Okay, if you don't have the sources, the links, etc., links to the sources to back it up, we won't take you seriously, so don't expect to be taken seriously. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up, add your comments below this video, then go share it with your family, friends and others. Thank you for taking the time to watch this, our short video on some questions we need answering. It would be great to hear from Victor Nimrud Alexander, the real one himself.